This is his moment.
Oh, he's
out to the right.
And they've won.
Glory lost forever. The Gold Coast Suns have their first ever AFL win. And it's one we will never forget.
Welcome to Honest Archives, Wally. This is our first ever crack at this podcast series with Honest Beers, and we'll get to our guests very, very shortly, but excited to launch this.
Yeah, and you did well not to say, as always, joined by Wally, because this is the first time technically we've done this show.
Yes.
It's very exciting. We've wanted to do it for a while.
Yep.
Obviously, Honest Archives being that we're going to look back at great moments, events, things that have happened in sport that aren't just Hawthorn flags. So we'll just
or Saints wooden spoons. Yeah, all that. No, we want to go niche.
We are going to go niche. Yeah, so we're not. You are not going to hear about the Kieran Perkins 1500 or Kathy's amazing win in 2000. You're probably not even going to hear about Mackay Diva, who's close to both of our hearts. No. But what you are going to hear is you're going to hear absolute sporting gold. And we start with a cracker.
Yeah. So I'll quickly intro what we're doing. We are doing round 5. 2011 of the AFL season. It is Port Adelaide hosting Gold Coast at Amy Stadium. And it's the first ever Gold Coast win. And who better to have on the show than a player who absolutely starred that day, Dan Gorringe.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, thanks. Great to be here. Thank you, guys. This is unbelievable. When you floated this idea, the new series you're doing, I went, this is amazing. This is also me.
So you.
On this day, I couldn't be more entrenched in history for doing the bare minimum on this day. So it's perfect.
100%. So we will get into, we are going to get into your performance, which, there's a lot that we can obviously unpack. But the first question, Wally, I want to ask you, because I know exactly where I was and we know where Dan was, but where were you when this happened?
So I went back to try and work out, and I think I've got a weekend around it, but I'm pretty sure.
This is great for me to know where everyone was when it went down.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure it was just before I was heading over to seas for a mate's wedding.
Okay.
And my folks were over in Europe. And I remember them being there before because I saw them at this wedding like that every month. And I was house sitting. I actually had some mates living at their house. And that whole month, we basically just had party after party every weekend. So I don't remember a lot of it, but I know I would have been drinking a heap of beers and watching every game of footy on the couch.
Yeah, 100%.
So I know it was around that time. But you actually know where you were.
Yeah, I was similar thing. I was at my parents' house. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I was just watching on the couch. And it was one of those ones where, like, you know, you place your bets or you think about it and you go like, sure Port Adelaide will probably win this easy. And I couldn't look away. It was fucking absurd.
They were bad too.
Yeah, they were bad too.
Bad, they were bad.
Yeah, they were really bad in 2011, which I didn't even realise. But first one for you guys, because you were getting smashed every week.
Yeah.
Were you going into that game thinking Port Adelaide are bad as well, we're a chance, or were you just going, I just hope we don't lose by more than 60?
I think so. I think there's the whole mindset of the group. Just don't embarrass yourself was the big one. Like and also just get Gaz the ball a lot.
Yeah.
One of the two things that year you're just in your head is like, don't embarrass yourself and just give it to Gaz.
Yeah.
Yep.
So going into it, I think there's a lot of talk. We would have come off the back of a big loss. But I felt like from memory that Bluey at the time, Guy McKenna coaching, it felt like I think we thought we were a genuine chance because we knew Port, if there was ever one that you could see, the ones before, you're like, new team, we're getting smashed, it's 18-year-old kids. But Port, you're like, okay, they've got tarps.
Yeah.
That's always a good sign. No one's there. Like, they could not sell out footy park.
Tarps.
Yeah. So that's in the tarp era for them.
Yeah,
so going into it, we knew we were a massive chance. And we were good. We were just so not built for football. Yeah, but we were good when we got the ball in our hands.
Yeah, just young. Yeah, you guys would have been like one of those AFL 9s teams where you can't tackle. You would have been amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what else is funny? You mentioned Port there. I reckon if you go back to the archives of YouTube, that was the year 2011 when someone made that video, Port losing to the bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. They got the bye, and then they it was a rush behind to lose to the bye.
Yeah, it was that weird like transition time where they'd just come out of the 07 grand final. They'd lost like all the coach and everything like that, and then they had Matthew Primus was leading as well. I mean, not a great tenure with Primus, but I just want to set the scene a little bit. So, like I said, it was round 5. It was your 4th game because you had a bye in the first week, which that's because there were 17 teams. So that would be why. Port Adelaide went into the game 1-3, and you guys went in 0-3. So, as you say, pretty average kind of look when you look at it. Got the sense Port were transitioning, but one thing I love bringing up is Port Adelaide won every single quarter except the last. They won every quarter.
I remember at that point during the first 3 games we played, you got a sense where it was going straight away.
Yeah.
Like you just did. First quarter, I know exactly where this is going. Yeah. And that was the same in this game. It was going that way until from memory, just stopped.
Weird.
And we kept going and going and going.
And were you like, we could actually maybe lose by 2 goals? Maybe, yeah, how were you starting to chip away and thinking, fuck, we could actually...
So were we, I don't know, you have to tell me if you got a score line there. Were we close to at all? What was the biggest margin?
So the biggest margin it was about 35 points it got to.
That's pretty impressive.
You were down by 28 at 3/4 time.
That's huge.
And you won the last quarter 41-10.
That's
so you've come home with a
5
wet
goals.
sail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Luke Russell.
Yes.
I think Brandon Matera also had a massive game that one.
Yeah, so we're going
You got them all?
to get to that. We're going to get to that. But I wanted to ask you, Gorringe, 3 disposals, 2 hit-outs and subbed.
Good 3.
Can you remember when you were subbed?
I knew when I was going to come about halfway through the first quarter. I knew that red vest, and that was back when red vest.
Yeah, that was the first year of red vest.
Oh, you had to wear it, didn't you?
Got thrown the red, so you have to sit there. Everyone knows you're subbed out. Just make it more clear. You put on the red vest.
Yeah, fuck, that's
And
depressing.
quarter time breaks, you go out there in the red vest. So still in your playing kit, but red vest. So I knew early it was happening. I think I was told going to the game, if we're close and we need some speed, we're going to sub you out. That was more like Bluey saying, we have just picked you because, and we'll very much take you out this game quickly.
Yeah.
I feel. But I knew early, I was nowhere even close to being in this game. I was doing cardio out there. There was a lot of cardio going on and couldn't get into the game.
Yeah.
Like they 2 hit outs, that's so bad. But 3 touches. So I was trying my hardest to get spots and be involved in this thing, and I was just nowhere near it.
I'm pretty certain, before we go, I'm pretty certain whoever it was, I think Daniel Stewart was Port Adelaide's ruck, and I think whoever was their number 1 ruck,
Matty Loeb
was out, I think. So
Dan
there was
Stewart's
it was
giving me
actually
business.
set up for you to
explode.
To
Dan
explode.
Stewart, he's given me the business.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 100%.
That's so embarrassing. I mean, full respect to him because he's probably been very good, but as me, it's bad.
As a South Australian, was that your first game back home?
Yep.
So
Family,
family,
friends.
everyone there?
Got 20, 30 tickets for mum and dad to come down, family and friends. That was good. They love that. So embarrassing. But I had, and we won't talk about it because it doesn't care, but redemption game after that one was very good.
Yeah, okay.
Had 22 touches.
Oh,
So I
did
came
he?
back. But this, I knew straight away, but it was the worst. It was one of those ones that was so bad because I knew it was going to be me, was me, and then the sub who came on, Luke Russell, exploded.
2 goals in the last quarter?
Yep.
He was the difference.
He was.
So hang on.
Yeah.
So, the difference. If you hadn't have performed the way you did,
If you hadn't selflessly subbed yourself out.
they may have gone longer, and it might not have been the same.
Well, if I had 7 touches by the time they said, let's pull the sub now, who knows? Maybe they're still seeing that decision, wait till the last quarter. But
and
the
then
fact they
Luke
had
comes
3,
in, the whole game changes.
Brave.
they go, okay, let's get him out of here. Get Luke Russell in.
Can you remember, after the game, dressing rooms, family in there? Was it they were obviously excited for you that you won, but also a bit flat that you didn't? Sort of...
Yeah, they weren't
weird.
stoked with it.
Yeah.
And you know what they do, classic mum and dad, especially when you're young, but even in this scenario, they just say, you had a great game out there. Don't, mum, don't.
Just a lot of unhonoured leads.
Yeah.
Just getting into space.
No, I thought you were really good. Good pressure. No,
Yeah,
mum,
the
I got
pressure's
subbed
a
out.
good
It wasn't
one,
me.
yep.
So they were down there. And after the games was wild. We didn't know the lyrics at all. So you had Baz, the property steward at the time, with a big sign over his head. The vision.
remember that.
And everyone's looking at him in the circle. So we're
remember that.
learning lyrics on the go. Had no idea. The fact he brought that to the ground, very optimistic.
Yep.
Very optimistic. So he would have travelled with that for the first 3 games. Be like, this could be the one. So after the game was just crazy. And then that's when things picked up after that, obviously.
Did anybody try and learn the? Did you look around and go, nobody bothered?
Nah.
Is that a thing at footy clubs when you go? So you then go. I mean, you'd know most footy fans would know most of the clubs when a new club comes in. Is there when players come in to the club? Is it just an afterthought? You're not going to spend any time on it.
Nah, I don't think we even sung it in the NEFL before that for boys who were playing. I don't think anyone saw what the song was. I think we'd heard it because they released the song.
Yeah.
But no one
Right.
no one knew the lyrics.
So it's not like Tassie who are singing a song now, right, in the VFL.
Well, see their one that they did, and they put the lyrics on the ground. It was like that. Very similar singing the song for the first time.
And back at Carrara or wherever it was, you didn't have anything on the wall in the dressing rooms that had nothing.
Nothing.
At all. Okay.
Did not see one lyric prior.
Facilities at Carrara weren't great at that stage, were they?
Horrible. We were out of those demountable sheds
Nice.
at the time, so about
That's
6 of those
Brisbane
tin
Bears sort of
sheds.
stuff.
No aircon in them, so you were just boiling. When you did gym up there, the humidity and the heat, it was just sweating bullets.
Yep. How many
That
toilets?
was so bad. We had 6.
6 for 44 blokes. Then
6 and
staff.
6 showers in shower blocks.
Oh.
Yeah. Stuff. And then the ice baths were, I think the stadium had opened halfway through the first season, so that's when we got used to the stadium and those change rooms. But for the first pre-season, it was bins and ice.
Decent facility now, isn't it?
Now it's the best.
Okay. Okay, great.
Like you won't find a better one. It's amazing.
Can you remember the media reaction? Was there much interest in like Gold Coast at all that you'd had a win back home?
No, not up there. They didn't know we existed. That's why I think Gaz went up there, because he could walk down the street and no one would care at all. It's Gary Ablett.
So nothing in the Courier Mail.
Nah, nothing. Maybe a little bit in the bulletin, Gold Coast bulletin there. But at the same time, you had like the Blaze were playing NBL then.
Shit.
And they were a big thing.
So, because I had to look back through this. No
Gold Coast United, maybe?
No Gold Coast-based professional sports team has won a title in Australia.
Wow.
Not the Blaze, not the Gold Coast Rollers.
What was the Gold Coast A-League team?
Gold Coast United.
United.
Yeah.
Didn't win one.
Yeah, they were bad.
Obviously, the Titans have had no success.
Yeah, they're bad.
So this is actually now turning into. We won't go too much into modern day, but this is now turning into that you paved the way for.
I set the foundation.
You said you put in the performance to get dragged so Luke Russell could come on and win the game.
And that's the turning point in the club.
And Luke Russell's a good mate of yours?
Very good, mate.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he reminds me constantly. When
Does
I'm
he
at that.
really?
Yeah, he knows.
What's he doing? What's he doing now?
He's in Tassie. He's in Burnie, I think. I think he's a Fiery.
Wow.
Would he get back involved in footy down there in Tassie?
Plays for two Blues. Penguins
Do
down
you
there.
reckon is he the sort of person that would want to get involved in the club like Tasmania if they'd have him?
In like a coaching role, he loves his footy.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, he loves his footy.
What were the Suns like? Like everyone talks famously about the Giants when they first launched. They were very like Lippy, Toby Green, those kind of guys. What were you guys like on the field against Port Adelaide?
What was your brand? What was your personality?
Just good on the piss.
Yeah, nice.
Really? Yeah,
Nice.
we weren't like that. Like the Giants were very much like you said,
Yeah.
lippy and had a bit of swagger about them. I think we were just accepting that we would get beat up for a year.
Yep.
And also we had Gaz and Bocky, Nathan Cracker, Josh Fraser plays for us
Campbell
as well.
Brown.
Campbell Brown's
Jared Harbrow.
there. Jared Harbrow was there as well.
So you had a lot, didn't you?
So we had a few, and we just
Jared
expected them to do
Brennan?
everything. Jared Brennan, he was so good. He was unbelievable. Like we had all these
One hand.
stars there that were just great.
And you guys, unlike the Giants, you weren't in like a commune base, were you? Because you know how the Giants all lived, and that would have been they all lived in the one area.
We went to foster families. Don't know if they were called that. They were called. No, I think they were.
Were they?
Yeah, something like that. Host families.
Host families.
Host foster, yeah, that's
Foster cares,
No. Host families.
Host families.
Where we go to just random people you never met before.
Who was best on the circuit?
On the piss?
Outside of yourself, of course.
Yeah.
Geez, we had some great performers. I tell you, Tom Lynch can drink.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Back in the day, set the tone. Your Tom Lynch is the world. Your Stephen May.
Stephen May, you'd say that, yeah. Dion?
Obviously. Dion was good on the piss.
Yep.
We were all very good. There was none that didn't give it a crack.
Except for Gaz.
Gaz did not give it a... Yeah, he was very much removed from us.
Did you ever see him drinking a beer?
One maybe at Mad Monday. As you said, Gaz was on Gaz's own island. He ran his own show. For those who, like we've spoken about this before,
Yeah.
for those who listen to this now and don't know this, Gaz came to the club on massive money. We're all 18 on the minimum you can get. So he had all the money. We didn't know Gaz, but when he'd be at training, you'd say he's just so far and beyond above anything you've ever seen. Like we have nothing for whatever that is. We can't stop that.
Yeah.
And he would do weird things where he'd train in his runners and pirouette out of stoppages, 360 fend off, kick one for 55, and then just finish training and go home. And then come back and do weights in his own time. Everything was what Gaz wanted to do. In team meetings, he would either be there, he wouldn't really care. I was obviously the captain. I almost won a Brownlow and we were really bad.
Yeah.
But Gaz was doing his own thing the whole first
Unbelievable.
season. Just because he could.
That is genuinely
And
amazing.
Nathan Ablett was there as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saw the recent footage of Gary playing local footy and Nathan was the runner or something like that. Did you see that?
Really?
Yeah, last weekend. Who was he playing local footy for? It was somewhere.
Down in Tassie, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it was one of those.
Nathan was the runner.
Menorchy or one of the. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, Nathan was the
How
runner.
do we feel about that? Seeing a legend of the game go down and play and have 9 touches and a couple goals.
Yeah.
How do we feel? Do we like it?
It doesn't do anything for me, to be honest.
Oh, it's sad for me to see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. The only thing if I want to see is like
question,
I'd rather see what Fev did and just go and kick 10 on him, 12 on him out of the square and flex. Or it's good if it's for something. So if there is a reason to bring money to the club and
true.
things, I get that. But yeah, there is something a little bit, it takes the shine off it because you want to see them go and dominate.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see. You want to see somebody just tearing them apart. And that was the cool thing when Australia used to go and play Ireland and you'd see all of our top players playing together going and, you know, it was competitive because it's sort of the game, but when we'd fight, they just beat the shit out of it.
We were there to get drink and fight.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
It
what
was
we were there
great.
for.
Yeah.
It was great. It's just that's what you want to see. Absolute domination.
What was what was Billy McKenna like as a coach?
Legend.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah.
He had the heart. He had 48 year olds to try and put into a team. That's impossible to do.
Yeah.
And to know, he would have known going to every week, and even the first 3 to 4 preseasons, this is going to be a slog. They have to learn a game plan. They have to learn how to play AFL football. And he was just unreal at being honest of where you're at, picking best team.
Yep.
One of those coaches also who didn't have favourites. He just played the senior boys because they played AFL football. Yeah. But when it came to push and shove, he just did not care at all.
Yeah, right.
He was unbelievable.
Because he's on a hiding to nothing, right? Like, he is literally there to go, okay, realistically, it's going to be very hard for you to be the first premiership coach of this club because it's such a long road. Yeah. And he did. It's good to hear he did a good job.
Yeah, no, he was great. Yeah, I've got a lot of time for Bluey. He was probably one of the best coaches I've had.
Yeah. And so back to the reaction at the time, I asked you this off air. You didn't party in Adelaide. You went home straight away and you made sure that you partied in Gold Coast. Is that correct?
We partied hard.
Where'd you go? What'd you do?
Mermaid Tav was the normal place we'd go.
Mermaid Tav?
Yeah. Mermaid Tav, great establishment. It was next to Sizzler on Gold Coast Highway. So,
I mean, I know the Gold Coast Highway. wouldn't even know.
Yeah, Sizzler, there's a KFC on the same corner. Oh, so it's big. And a mini golf next to
So would that be
Mermaid Tav.
Sizzler for dinner, beers, KFC on the way home?
Yeah, then mini golf.
Yeah.
In that way. And we just launched. We got so blind.
On the Saturday night.
Saturday nights we
so
played.
Flew back
late, then recovered the next day. But that whole night was big.
Really?
Big on us.
What was recovery like?
Horrible.
Yeah.
That was, and probably normal to most recoveries because at this time we're just playing a Saturday game, even a Sunday game, 5-day turnarounds, 6-day turnarounds, didn't matter. We're going to the Mermaid Tav. We're going to drink. Like that's was the norm for the first couple of seasons.
I mean, how did you feel having only a couple of disposals and then just
wouldn't matter though?
It was like a premiership to us. You know? You ask anyone who's won a flag or a medal, it's whatever.
Yeah.
I helped to do this, so I'm going to celebrate as well.
Yeah.
Cam Mooney, 1999.
Can you remember?
But everyone knew.
Can you remember? Can you remember in our local cricket? Celebrating nights where we'd win a game and you did absolutely nothing and we'd still go out and have
you have to
round 6.
But it's all the work that you put in prior to that.
Yeah, exactly right.
You know?
Well, we didn't really train.
Well, that's okay. Well, you still take it. But
yeah, you're actually an athlete.
I was sheepish about it though.
Things no one talks about. I want to bring up. So the first thing, this is just for my own interest. Did you know that the Suns historically are 2-15 against Port? Record. So they've only won one other game against Port in their entire existence.
Wow. Yeah. Really?
So that was obviously the first one, and there was some other one at some other point, but they've only ever beaten Port Adelaide twice.
Well, I reckon that's about to change, right? That is about to, the ledger is going to start to even up a little bit because they won't be beating them for a while based on what we've seen.
More useless information. So before that game, I think you scored 103 or 104 to win that game.
Yeah.
But before that, your highest score was 69.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
And the lowest score you'd ever conceded was 122.
Wow.
And you had conceded, I think, 103 or 102. So your highest ever score and your lowest ever score, obviously.
So generally we pulled one out of our ass.
Yeah.
Really.
122 was the lowest score you conceded. And that was probably in the wet or something like that. It probably could have been more.
It wasn't because we were stopping anything. It was just conditions.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
It was so bad.
But I mean, like, this is a small sample size. Like, this was your 4th game. It's not like this is round 18
Yeah.
and that was the case.
Jeez.
It's true.
Did you feel like that win helped, like, pushed you in? Like, did you feel like as a team you were more confident and you had, like, a few more honourable
I think so.
performances
I think
after
once you win one, once you're in, you know you can do it.
Yeah.
Not every week, but you know it's not impossible. You just got to get that first one away, and then it feels like you belong and people weren't, like the other teams not taking the piss out of you every week.
One thing we always talk about is like the sort of the bounce back ability of, like, you have an emotional win. What do you like the next week? You said this off air. I didn't even put this in my research, but you were like, oh, we had a massive night at the Mermaid Tavern. I wonder how we went the next week. How'd you go the next week?
The game where Essendon kicked 15 in the first quarter. I think it was 198 to... they kicked 194 to 50.
Kyle
Reams explodes.
Yeah.
So there's always that vision. We said that at quarter time when the score comes up, it's 15 and they cut to Gaz. And Gaz is just filthy because he wasn't at Mermaid Tav. He was at home.
No. Yeah. He was thinking we're going to keep winning because I'm going to be a professional.
Destroyed.
Wow.
Just 15 goals. Imagine 15 goals in the first quarter now.
So you weren't playing in that game, were you?
Got dropped.
Okay,
Obviously.
but that was there.
Politics.
Is there a little bit of a? You're looking back, going, "Oh well, you didn't pick me. Can't help, guys."
Yeah, you're missing out on at least one touch that quarter. So a little bit, yeah. So
that would have been tomorrow. Did you speak to the guys after that, and like just about how tomorrow? I mean, I can't even imagine being.
It was bad. It was bad. And again, but you fly home to the Gold Coast. No one talks about it because no one cares up there. Again, they talk about the Blaze, or scoring a basket, but no one cared. I think that the worst thing was that. Just it did nothing to the mindset of what we were doing. We still went to the pub. Like there was no deterrent to, hey, this can't happen again. It was more we've let Gaz down. than anything. It wasn't like we cared.
Yeah.
So you did the same thing in the first 4 games. You did the same thing after the win, and then you got absolutely pumped and did the same thing.
Yep.
If you're not playing though, you'd all go and join, right? Because it would be very different to current football. Like we have the twos that would go and play in the twos most of the time.
Yeah.
Because you're all so young. I'm assuming it wouldn't matter whether you're ones or twos. You'd all feel like part of the same team.
Yeah, you do, because you all know the team could change.
Yeah.
If you're playing NEFL, playing AFL, everyone's still getting 20 games under their belt. So you're a massive chance every week.
Yeah, because that'd be different to that. I mean, then when you go to, say, a Carlton, that'd be completely different, right? You would have your people that are just going to play each week, then you'd have your fringe, and then you have your people that would essentially almost train with the VFL.
Well, it's like the teams there. Like you said, the teams now, you have 2 spots maybe each week to get a game.
Yep.
Everyone's pretty concrete.
Yeah.
Now, back in the Gold Coast days, especially this year, there's 18 spots up for grab. It just rotates. If you kick 9 against Southport in the NEFL,
You're buying.
You're a massive chance.
Moving on to forgotten random contributor.
Yeah.
You mentioned him. Brandon Matera had 21 and 4.
Yeah, I knew he had a massive game. He was doing these weird snaps around his shoulder. He dominated.
It's so odd. 21 disposals as well. Was that big for him?
Massive.
Yeah.
I think, was this the one where Trent McKenzie kicked a crazy goal?
Yes,
against
it
Adelaide.
was.
The cannon.
Yeah, the cannon.
Launched himself.
Another random contributor that I've got here, Michael Riscatelli had 31 and 2.
Wow.
We didn't even talk about him when we were talking about the... I forgot he was on your list.
Yeah, he was amazing.
So he was there
McQualter
first
was on
year.
our list as well. It wasn't first year, but Minnie McQualter came after. In that game as well, I remember, I think Jared Brennan kicks a crazy goal from the boundary.
Did.
And then Westhoff has a shot to win it.
Yes, missed it.
On the siren and misses it. And there's 40 people on the mark because you could have people moving around the mark.
Yeah, and the reaction was just fucking
Wild.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Jeez.
Talk us through the house parties you were having at your parents' place. Would you have celebrated bigger than Goz did over the course of that month?
No, it was more. No, it was just I was bubbling away the whole time. But they weren't the same. I was very. They were not a house parties as such. It was literally how many mates can you get into a house that can fit around the TV and gamble at the same time.
Another one for you.
What a great day.
Do you remember the bet? Do you remember the bet you had on this game?
No.
I'll
tell you
wouldn't
what.
touch the Gold Coast player.
That's a fucking show on its own. Is Wally round 15, 2002, and you'd be like, oh, Essendon North. I back north of the line. Like
I'd be able to find it because there was a lot less
documented. It's a
bookmakers,
good
and
thing.
you would have to. There was a lot less bookmakers in 2011.
Yep.
They have to keep the record. I guarantee. I'll see if I can find it. What I was going to say, you spoke about unknowns here and the surprise things. Do you know what is? I found this a good stat. I think the Showdown's the biggest rivalry.
Yeah.
I know the Derby's huge, but
Showdown,
I think is the
Showdown's
biggest
big, yeah.
anger rivalry in Australian footy. Port Adelaide won the Showdown by 5 goals the week before. So they are riding high. They come in, they're up by 5 goals at 3/4 time. So you'd think that they would get the job done, but they were probably fucked.
That's a bad loss by them then.
That is a huge loss. So they've just won a Showdown by 5 goals. You're playing against a team of kids and Gaz and a few other experienced players. They must have been cooked because Showdowns, obviously, it doesn't matter how you're traveling. It takes it out of you. But I find that interesting.
That's crazy you say that. Also, I remember the crowd from this day. No one being there. Because we played a game on the Gold Coast and there was no one there. It felt like that.
Yeah.
So maybe something with the aura of
you
no one
felt at
watching.
home, yeah,
It felt maybe there was no one here. This is very much our home game.
Also, I just wanted to, I got one thing wrong. I said 36 points. The Power actually led late in the third quarter by 40. So you guys have
wild.
kicked 2 goals late in the third quarter to get it to 28, and then you kicked 6 out of 7 in the last quarter.
That is crazy.
104 to 101.
That's so bad. How long did Primus last after this? Do we know?
I believe he was there in 2012.
Oh, really? Keep going.
I think Ken's
I
first year
find
was
that-
Ken's
I
first year
find
was
that-
2013. I'm fairly certain.
It's one of those ones like Vossi now.
Yeah.
After that loss, it's hard to come back from, surely.
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird one because I think they probably had low expectations.
Yeah.
Because it was like they were kind of transitioning out of the Kane Corns era, I think, or he was close to maybe being moved on. But I reckon you'll find
Crazy.
I reckon Ken Hinkley took over in 2013. They made the finals that year, which was interesting. So yeah, Dean Brogan was out with a leg injury, and he didn't play. But you guys had, this is probably why you were subbed out, backing you in here. Josh Fraser, Zach Smith, and yourself.
Yeah, you can't have
Very
all-
top
you can't
heavy.
have all of them there.
Did you guys have that? Did you roll?
Wasn't getting much game time. With my game time at all, I wouldn't have been on very rarely.
I don't have the data, but I think it's I think it's definitely you wouldn't have been on. For very long.
At least 10%. Wouldn't be much. Even the forwards, I think Was Charlie Dixon?
Yeah, he was playing.
Someone must have been playing. Charlie Dixon must have been playing.
You played 53% game time.
That's a lot more than I thought.
Luke Russell played 36% game time.
Okay, that's
But
a lot.
in fairness, whether you got hitouts or not, you were part of a team that restricted them to 23 hitouts, whereas your team had 44. I mean, others had plenty
A lot,
of that.
but
I'm just going to throw some names. This is the team you beat. These are the players you beat. Boak, Matthew Broadbent, who was very handy, Troy Chaplin, Chad Corns, Brett Ebert, Gray Hartlett, Daniel Motlop. I'm not going to do
Motlop kicked forward too.
Paddy Carlisle was in there as well.
The world's greatest goal umpire, David Roden.
Was he playing that game?
He was.
Oh, wow.
Guess what?
Didn't touch it.
Was he their sub?
He didn't tell you, only had 5 disposals. So you guys, there you go. Just a couple of threes.
Forever linked.
Love that.
In a disappointing pod. And Justin Westhoff, of course. So you were playing.
Well, they played a grand final 4 years earlier.
Yeah.
DT?
Also, Karmichael Hunt was playing that game.
Yeah.
What was it like playing with him?
He was awesome. He was so scary.
Yeah.
The first year or two, he actually wanted to learn the skills, but he couldn't wrap his brain around how the game worked. So he was still treating every training session, every game like it was rugby.
Yeah.
And the way he tackled people.
Real low. Hit
Real low. And then you saw his frustration come out when he missed a target or he couldn't get the game now, like the sense for it, where he just leveled someone out. Wow. And they had to tell him at training, when we do these drills, because training now and back then was very much, let's just get through. Don't give each other a corky. Don't take someone to ground. It's not worth it. We're on the same team here. He would go into those drills and just take someone out. Low around the hips, get you in the chest like a full rugby hit.
Yeah.
And they had to tell him, you have to calm down. But he was good. He was an enforcer.
And so he wasn't just there for the cash. He actually wanted to be good.
He genuinely was trying his hardest to get the sport.
Because he played juniors, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, he did.
And he came, actually, towards the end, he became good.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
He kicked the win against Richmond.
Yeah.
And he had a great side step, obviously, so he brought so much. And he would, if someone needed someone to be taken out, say at quarter time or half time, so-and-so's getting away from us, you'd sometimes look at Karmichael and go, what do you reckon?
Is that a thing? Because I was going to ask, I think about it today in today's footy where there's heaps of taggers. You see like Wanganeen Miller are getting tagged, Dacos, all of the the big names. If you were like a player that was that size, is someone actually, like, do you reckon like in present day, someone will give an instruction to like, I don't know, Liam Stocker and say, just like take him out?
Well, it was so nice.
Yeah.
But I do remember back in the days where you'd come off the square.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was the player that would come off the square.
I'd
say
be scared
half
shitless.
forward, and his thing would be if a boat gets it at the back of a stoppage, someone tap behind him or handball behind the back, just nail him. Whoa. And he was that. But you couldn't do it. Like, so scared of suspensions.
Yeah.
You can't do it these days. But he was that.
Speaking of that, do you remember that when he came back, the goal against Richmond, which I believe Paul Roos described from Richmond as the worst 60 seconds of football of all time.
It's pretty bad. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it was.
Probably been top one.
I was in a house where a Richmond fan threw his Richmond top into the toilet.
You have to do Karmichael for that one.
Yeah. So do you remember the game well?
I was there playing Neefel.
That's right.
Did my syndesmosis a couple hours before.
Oh.
So I was still part of the team. I think I was also planning to be pulled out at halftime to be the emergency for this game.
Oh, what?
So double whammy there. But I remember feeling like we were always in it. Like the narrative again was another one where you can beat them. Brand Materia pulls that kick out of his ass on the boundary line, back into Karmichael. Everyone tells Karmichael to go back and kick it. And then in the celebration after, Liam Patrick nails Daniel Stanley in the nose. And he comes
I remember that. Yeah.
He comes out and needs stitches after.
That happens a bit. I know I've been pretty good not mentioning the Hawks, but that happened.
Here we go.
Trent Crowd 08 had the crutches and came. And
but that's after the grand final.
After
That's
the
okay.
game, with the cut across.
Happens a lot.
One reference. We said that one. So that's one Hawk DT. Mark it down. That's one Hawks reference.
Haven't even bred up.
Back to the game that we're meant to talk about, Ward.
Yes, back to the game.
Harley Bennell kicked one goal. Didn't have a huge game, but I just wanted to ask you: is he the most talented player you've played with?
Him and Gaz.
Yeah. Sorry, not Gaz. Yeah, but
no, in terms of talent,
yeah.
him and Gaz. I've never seen anything like those two.
And he was fucking absurd early on before whatever happened to him.
He could not give a shit about 2Ks or being fit. That came after when he finally got it, that if you want to be better than what you are now naturally, go and be fit, go and be strong.
Yep.
In pure football skills, Harley Bennell is up there with Gaz with just talent, and you cannot do anything when he wants to do something. Like it was next level. He was so good at football. It play everywhere.
does say here in the official report that David Roden was subbed out.
He was sub too. So
Yeah, no, I'm just going to go. I'm going through it by Jason Davenport in the third quarter. Jason Davenport, the Eagle killer, and you were subbed out in the third quarter. So
give me a chance. They gave me a chance, though.
Yeah, they gave you a chance. Don't know when in the third quarter.
So you've played a lot because you played 53% of the total game time in 2.5 quarters.
Crowd.
So you've played for 80% of the time you're on.
Man.
I want you both to guess what you think the crowd was.
It would have been 9,140. The tarps. They're around every second bay.
I'll go 8,500.
You're going to be shocked. It was 21,287. Yeah, that's what. I never know whether they lie about those official crowds, but I've got it here. 21,287 at Amy Stadium.
That seems like a lie.
14,000 were in bars, were they?
Wow.
Potentially, yeah.
Oh, those tarps had that original V cool logo, didn't they?
Now, more I think of it, I think the tarps were a little bit more the next year. So the next year was Primus's, I believe, his second year in charge. They just come off how bad the 2011 year was. I think it could. I'm not saying that there weren't any tarps in 2011.
Also, with the sub thing, it was back. You knew when it was happening because the runner would call you to the bench with no message.
Oh, so it was just like Gorringe.
It normally be like, come for a quick breather. Oh, I want to tell you a tactic. It was
Exactly. Yeah. You just kick your goal, come on.
And you knew straight away. Baz would be standing there with a red vest. You go, here we go.
Can you remember who the runner was?
No.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
So I wasn't an ex-player.
No.
Another segment, just if it happened today, which isn't that relevant because, well, it will be relevant when Tassie come in. But I just wanted to say, so it took the Suns round 5, their fourth game, to win their first game. The Giants did it in round 7, the next year of their first season. They beat you guys. How long do you reckon it'll take Tassie? It's hard to tell with them, but I really think that they might struggle to get
people down there.
I think they will get a very favourable draw early. So I think that they will.
Of course they will.
If let's say they were coming in this year, I would have thought they would have given them Richmond, North Melbourne, West Coast, Essendon.
Because yours was hard. You didn't get to play at home because you didn't have a stadium.
You didn't have a stadium.
Right? Yeah,
So
it was really hard.
I think the AFL will do their best. I think that maybe do you know what would be interesting? Because we don't need to do it now. Brisbane Bears took a while. West Coast won straight away.
Adelaide
won their first game by 80 points.
Yeah.
Port, I'm not sure, but like I think that it will be hard for Tassie, but I think that they will give them every opportunity to win in one of the first games of the year.
They'll give the first 4 rounds of, say it was now in Essendon, North, Carlton,
It'll be
West
the
Coast.
bottom 4 from the year before.
So the only thing about Tassie, I'll say, I think they'll have trouble signing, not because of the money and, anything like that. Not having a stadium for 3 years.
Yeah.
As a player, horrible.
And
if you don't have a base.
Because everyone hears the stories as well, and then anybody that wants to keep their player and not have them leave, don't you telling me Collingwood aren't going to go and show Nick Dacos the footage of that Hawthorn Adelaide game from last year where there was ice on the ground and people and go, that's what playing at night is going to be down there, and they will put you on at night because they want to showcase it. That's what it's going to look like for the next 3 years.
Yep.
And here's the photos of the rooms and all of that stuff. You're not going to be mate. Like you can see.
Yeah.
So Richmond, Collingwood, Melbourne, not Melbourne now because they moved out, but like those two, you can see the MCG from your training facility. Then you got Essendon state of the art, Hawthorn state of the art. Well, Melbourne's getting state of the art.
Carlton just built one.
Western Bulldogs is great.
Built,
you've got all North Melbourne, they've redone Arden Street, and you're in town, so it gets, it's going to be
They'll
hard.
get a home team. They just win one. They'll get someone on the jump. They just will.
They'll get McKercher, right?
Yeah, but in terms of win as well, they'll get someone off the back of a 5-day turnaround, traveling down there, and it's pissing down rain, and North can't kick straight.
Yeah.
They'll get one. But
I agree.
First 10 rounds.
Imagine that. The first thing they've got them playing. They've got them playing on a Friday and a Sunday, and then they have a bye early, and they send a team down there that's had to play on Sunday 4:40 in Perth, and then they're going to play Thursday night in Tassie.
Or they'll get gather round and get someone to gather around.
Yeah,
that's true.
That'll happen.
Well, talk us through. This is probably the most rare jersey you can possibly get.
So for those who can't see it on YouTube, it is the Charizard of Gold Coast Suns Guernseys, which you have.
I would hold it up, but there's a sponsor we don't want to. Here we go.
So it is the Anzac Day 2015 Gold Coast Suns Guernsey with the old logo, the sun rising, as I can describe it, behind the logo, and lest we forget 1915, and then the Suns Day of this Guernsey 2015. Rarest thing you'll ever see from Gold Coast Suns is right there.
Yeah, 100%.
It's unbelievable, and it's a cool Guernsey.
It is.
I
really
like the old logo; it was good.
Yeah, I actually do like it too.
Yeah.
What do you think of the new one? Actually,
it's growing on me.
Yeah?
I'd like the Superman S to stand out more.
Yeah.
But being all red
Yep.
is very, like, Chris Petrarca looks amazing in it.
It does, doesn't it? It still looks like he's a D's player, kind of.
It's very easy to look good in it.
Yeah.
John Noble, if he had a tan, be good.
Yeah, the blonde hair. All
The red's amazing though. So no, they look good. They're going so well too. They're flying. They can wear anything.
And the last segment's kind of irrelevant because this is the first Honest Archives episode ever. But every episode I want to ask our guest and you, Wally, will this fit into the Honest Archives Hall of Fame? I think it has to, doesn't it?
Imagine a guest goes yes and we go probably not. Yeah. 100%. This of course will be in the Hall of Fame.
I think it has to be for the rareness of the performance. Like all the stats we said. There is no fucking way. You had no business winning this game.
No. Yeah. The fact that was even just part of it is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Had 3 touches.
Did you play in the next win?
We beat Lions in a Q clash. Did my hammy in the first quarter.
So your relationship to Gold Coast wins is so weird.
Yeah, I'm part of it.
It's the definition
Went
of
down
bittersweet.
the first 15 minutes of grade 3 after 6
Well,
weeks.
hang on, that is okay. Injury going, that's honourable.
Again, did a big hit on the boundary line, 1 touch.
Oh.
So I just need to be in the games we win.
But your next game back after this, you had a revenge.
Yeah, you had a revenge game.
So we go back. Yeah, we go back. I reckon I'm contract year 2013 or 14, 22 touches, 22 hit outs, and 1 goal from outside 55. Where I tell Gaz, I got this.
I seen that. I saw Gold Coast posted that as their highlight.
That's the one. That was my redemption game.
Because when they posted that, I was like, I wish that was from, but it wasn't from the win, so we couldn't have highlighted it. No. But that's like Gorringe contract year. That's a thing.
That's a big one. Yeah, I knew when it turned on. Played 9 games that year, and they were good games.
You're the Drake Stringer of.
I got him out of him.
Yeah, 100%. But look, guys, thanks for joining us. No. That was good fun. Good trip down memory lane. To the community, though, we also want to say, like, we want your suggestions. Yeah. Like, I feel like you will come up with more niche ones than Wally and I for what we're going to do next. But, guys, mate, thanks for coming on. That was great. Wally, obviously, you were great. And go Saints.
Go Hawks.
Go, I want to say Blues. I'm not sure about that. No, go Blues. For now.